I think I have something in my teeth. There's something in my teeth. Hi, it's me, Scott. Hello. I don't really need to do this, but I want to do it, kind of, weirdly. Just as like a little programming practice. You know, we wrote that sound font parser that I didn't even actually use, we just parsed it. And so that was recent. I've written a few other things kind of in that realm lately, and for some reason I'm just like thinking about parsers. You know? So I'm just gonna parse some things. So I have a project going on where I need to parse some SRT files. Those are like subtitle files that go with usually a common subtitle format that goes with videos, and it's a very like simple format. So I think we can write a parser without too much fuss. The thing is, I really eventually wanted to work like with Unity timeline, so maybe you could have an SRT timeline track, or I don't know. But today, I think we just want to try to like get a data structure, look at a SRT file, store it in a data structure that's easy to iterate through and find a specific time and so on. So I don't think it'll be too hard. Maybe it'll be hard. Maybe it'll be so hard. Kind of like this wallpaper, but I think I need different wallpaper. I had to choose on stream just to waste a bunch of time. That's an important part of my brand. Getting very close to buying. So the Epic Store, you know, I got Death Story yesterday because they had a coupon, the $10 off coupon. And in the past, they've done a crazy thing, where you can just reuse the same coupon as many times as you want. It seems like they did not do that this time, and I cannot endlessly use my $10 coupon because I was thinking about finally buying Frostpunk. I played it through Game Pass. I love it, so I would feel good about paying for it, and I want to play The Last Autumn. But then the coupon was expired, so kind of cramped my style a little bit. I do want to play The Last Autumn. Very excited about Frostpunk 2. Frostpunk is pretty easily one of my favorite games of the last few years. I think it's great. I think it's very underrated. I'm having some real trouble loading. I'm also tempted to try to write a stupid C wallpaper grabber. Because why not? Let's just go with this. I can work with this. So what's the first step? The first step is I just grabbed some VO guy's portfolio, a documentary sample.
The Luftwaffe against Britain, which after the fall of Paris in June of 1940.
And so I'm using the Premiere transcription thing, and it actually seems like impressively good. It got Luftwaffe air. Like it's at a glance, it's done pretty.
The Battle of Britain
well.
was one of
in the application
the most harrowing
like
episodes
per word. I'm not sure if it does per phoneme. It doesn't look like it.
of the entire Second World War. Seeking to deal a knockout blow after successfully conquering much of continental Europe, Hitler unleashed the Luftwaffe against Britain.
So nothing. I haven't listened to every word of this, but nothing is jumping out to me as a big mistake.
To the anti-aircraft gunners and ground crews, to the women working in factories and directing the squadrons in the air, and of course, the pilots themselves, who seemed to spring into action out of the wall in this panel.
Wait, out of the wall in this panel? That was a weird.
Themselves, who seemed to spring into action out of the wall in this panel.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna ignore that. That was kind of a weird voiceover. So I think from here we can. I just want the SRT. So if I do export transcript, is that going to get me? Oh, a PT transcript. What if I want an SRT file? That's the transcript. So do I go to captions? Create a captions track. Now maybe I'm lost. Do I need to create captions first? Format, subtitle. Yeah, I messed up. I thought I could export. Okay, So can I get an SRT from this? Export SRT file. Great. So we'll just do that for now. A cert file. Cert. Okay, so presumably now I have a cert file. So do I want to do this in Unity? Yeah, let's just do it in Unity. I'm trying to decide if I just wanted to do it as like a standalone .NET project, but let's do it in Unity. Well, let's make a new thing. Find the place. And I'll make it SRT parser, SRT parser. Okay. So yeah, so our goal is to parse this file, which it seems very rudimentary. It's not a complicated file. It's all raw plain text. Not a very efficient file. Oops. So, and I don't know, the thing I actually don't know that I'm like slightly worried about is if there's any weird variations to it. Because that for these kinds of file formats, sometimes you'll find there's just arbitrary variations between implementation specific, I guess you might call it, where it's like, oh, well, this implementation expects 2 spaces, and this implementation expects the arrow has 3 dashes, whatever. So we don't want subrip, right? We want, or is this the subrip format? I guess so. Okay, so if this is like the format, and we only follow these rules, like, is this literally the rules we have to follow? The most basic of all sort of formats. So there's 2 ways we could go about this that I can think of. One is the very easy way where we use lots of string operations. That's slightly heavier, but it probably doesn't matter because it's not like we have that much processing to do. And the other is like go through the file character by character or line by line, like looking for the things we want. I think that I'm gonna like try to do a thing where I'm gonna split it based on a blank line. You know, I think we want to like, yeah. I'm just gonna think about how we want to segment it, I guess. Like, what's the right way to break it into pieces? So there's one, the really naive way is just to say like, okay, find blank lines and split those, and then you have these little sub blocks, and then the sub blocks has a, you know, line by line, we just go line by line, and then we just say line 1 is like this, line 2 is like this, line 3 plus is like this. You know, that we don't care that much about what any given line is, because once we split here, we just know that of the split part. Like the thing here that's a little weird, yeah, because if we just go forward, the thing that's a little annoying is like, we don't really know. And it's not just a new line. So like, presumably this means there has to be 2 new lines, right? Okay, well, let's get these assets in here, and then I can kind of think about what we're doing. I think my first pass, I think I want my first pass just to be, well, we could do that high level split, or we just go line by line. I think we just go line by line. Right? Here's our cert file. Why didn't that import? What am I doing, Unity? Just, oops, accidentally did 2021.2. That was not on purpose. I might live to regret that. Okay, so we've got this dump file, and we will have a SRT parser. I'll make an SRT parser. And what we will do, probably, so we don't have to hit run all the time. Things about this new interface I'm just not used to. Like, where do you pick local? How do you pick local versus world for the pivot and stuff? There's like stuff in 2020. Is it this? How do you do it? How do you say if I want to be local or world? It's here. Okay. Well, good. Great. Good to know. So let's do this. And let's say for now, we just have a, and we won't even, we'll just always say the text asset. So how do we want to do this? This would have to live in either resources or streaming assets to always be sure that we could load it. We could also just load it as raw bytes. So do we want to use text asset or do we want to use can't quite remember the pluses and minuses of text asset. So text asset, you can get the raw bytes. Can't get lines. So you get the whole body of the text or you get the individual bytes. I'm not crazy about either of those, so I think I would actually prefer just to read the file name. So we'll just hard code that for the moment. So where, this is what's going to be a little weird though, is like where this thing lives. So we probably need this in, what's the right way to do this? If we have it referenced directly, we can use text asset. So I guess if I got the text, I could then parse it. So like, you just would get it and then do a split based on, That sees this as a default asset and not as a text asset, but I wonder if I can, so okay, that's one question. Let's just see. Like, I don't think you can just arbitrarily say, drop a default asset in as a text asset. I don't actually know the answer. Nope. You have to rename this to .text asset, I think, which is kind of not cool. So here's our options. Either we rename this .text asset, which didn't work at all. We'd need to go rename the file, I guess. I think text asset is the extension that it wants. No. Is it just .text? Or does it have to be something special? Okay, it's literally just a txt. A little annoying, but it just means that then it's a Unity asset and we don't have to worry about managing that ourselves. So I think I'm going to do that to start with. Maybe I'll change my mind. It's just that if we don't, then it has to be, you know, either in resources or it has to be in streaming assets. And that stuff just gets annoying because on Android, Yeah, it just gets annoying to load stuff like that, especially on Android where everything is in like inside of a jar, I think, and you have to get it, you have to like manufacture a URL. I don't know. I've done it a million times, but I don't want to do it. So that's the trick. So text asset means changing the file extension, but who cares? Do I care? I don't think I care. So what we will do, let's also do this. I forgot how to do this. That's not right. How do you do this? To get my brain back into Unity mode. It is just editor. Okay. Right. Oh yeah, we need to inside here do. This is my preferred way to do this now, rather than have a separate file. I don't like it. It just doesn't. I don't remember. This isn't right. I just can't remember what the right thing is. Maybe that's right. I don't think that's right. We'll see. I guess I probably should have made sure the microphone was working. Seems like it is. Okay. Hides inherited member. Yeah, I don't remember. How are you supposed to do this? It is draw default inspector. What did I forget? So we do have to override this. Okay. And then we have to do this whole business where we like get a reference to the thing, which in this case would just be something like this. I mean, we have target, so it's really like, and then we need to do a, we'll draw the default inspector first, and then do a like better GUI layout button. Button? How do you do it? Let me just look up every single step of this because I don't remember. These are kind of the things that I do like once during a project and then just cut and paste everything. So it's editor layout then. Good grief, not editor GUI layout. You know, like every time there's a new project, I'll do this one time, and then for the rest of the project, I'll just like duplicate that. Okay, and then what's your problem? This is not public. Okay, so now we should be able to just have a little editor button over here that when we press, it will parse the thing. Maybe. Yes, and we get all get it all here. So now the thing we want to do the split, and that's what's a little annoying is like, what are the line breaks going to be? Like what's, how do you know? Is there like a, is it this? Like, can I use this? It just becomes a concern when you're going to run cross-platform. I don't know what to expect the line breaks to be, I guess. So I guess let's say, let's like split this on this. Oh, I don't want to split. I guess I want to Join. No, wait. Rethink this. Split this. So what are you mad about? That's the separator I want. Oh, could do a regex split. Do I need to? I don't remember needing a count. Am I just totally remembering this incorrectly? I thought you could just split, yeah, based on the limiting character. Is it mad because that's not like system new line is not a, yeah. Just give you a string separator. And do I just have to give you string split options none? I don't know if there's a way to do this. I mean, I think there's plenty of ways that I could. Oh, also. So that'd be individual lines, but I guess I could try to split based on 2 of those. I don't know if I did this correctly. We'll see. 86 lines. Does that seem right? Probably 86 lines in here, right? So that'd be individual lines. But if I do the double thing, I'm just trying to decide if I care. So here's what I'm trying to decide. Like, I can either iterate through this line by line and just kind of keep a tally of what the thing is that I'm parsing, right? Like, just know, like, okay, I'm paying attention. Now I'm looking at the index. Now I'm looking at whatever. Now that I'm looking at, oh, I saw this. Now I got to do the thing, you know, and just keep a tally of like the state, basically. Or I could first split all these chunks, all the chunks apart, and then, I mean, it's, you know, some of these string operations are slow and expensive, but this could be an offline thing easily. But it's also, there's just not that much content, so it really doesn't matter. Like, it's just a thing that runs one time. Even if we ran it at runtime, this parse would only happen at one time. So this doesn't have to be like incredibly high performance. It can take a little time. So yeah, we could just decide, is it fully offline? We could also optimize it. So the thing that would be more performant is the thing to just loop through lines. Like, it's already kind of dumb to do this split. So I would just have to kind of keep track of what is the thing I'm trying to find, right? Like, so what I really want out of this is what? I want basically, I want to start time and I want an end time. I want some identifier, which I don't really care about that one. So I have like an int, 2 timestamps, and a string, basically. So if I had like a struct representation of this, is that just the ID? That could be a date time, or it could be a number of milliseconds. So I think we really just want to parse that into a number of milliseconds. Like something like this. Something like that. And then we will just make a array of these, or a list of these. I guess it could just be a list, so we can just add it as we go. Right? So I don't know. If I just don't care about being that optimal, the thing to do here really would be to like just look for 2 new lines, right? Like if I did oops. I don't want to do this. We could do this and just say like we're started. Like have like a bool. Like we're waiting for a new entry. So it's like if new entry is equal true, we're going to okay, yeah. Let's iterate through these. I don't know if I love this, but let's just see. Let's see what we think. Okay, so we're gonna just say if there's a new entry, then we want to do the thing, right? We want to I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how I want to do this. Because I have to keep track of... Yeah, it's a little annoying. Life is yours. Yes, I'm back in Unity. Welcome back. How's your embedded C++ going? So we're iterating through these lines. The thing that's a little annoying is like it's not just purely I mean, I guess we know, right? We could just advance these one at a time. We don't have to just be iterating. We can just advance the line. So let's do this instead. I think this would be better. Yeah, actually, I think I like this. Maybe I don't like it, but we'll try it. Is less than lines dot line. And then the only thing we really care about is like, hey, is it time to make a new entry, right? So we're going to say if new entry, and then or do we even care? Like, how are we going to decide this? Like, if there's a new... Do we even... Is that even a concern? Or we just always assume that when we hit here, we're always ready for a new entry? I think that's... Okay, I think there's something to this. Let's try it. So we're going to say that there is a new... how does this work if I'm going to push this every time? I guess I do have to do a new one every time. So we would say like, I mean, there's no validation here to make sure this is right, but so for example, like we know that lines I is how do you parse an integer? And oh gosh, I switch languages too much. So int parse, parsent, parse, int dot try parse. I don't really want to try parse. Yeah, int dot parse, that's fine. you gotta, I don't know, man. Compiler's your buddy. My first piece of advice is don't do object-oriented when you're doing embedded stuff. It's just so much overhead. It's good, but somebody also had the answer in addition to the Google. So, and that's funny that that was at the first result. That was the first result also, but I didn't Google, I DuckDuckGo'd, which means, of course, I got a terrible result. Okay, so let's just do this. I think. I mean, we really should be trying these things instead. Like, this could certainly crash and burn, but whatever. So we can just do this, you know? We can just increment our I here if we want. And then we can say, for example, that it's going to be like, this gets a little annoying unless we can do a date time parse. So let's split the next entry, assuming this is always true. And this may not be true, but for now we're going to be like very trusting of this format. Where did we lose our... Yeah, well, you know, if you're like me, you learn by doing things. But the compiler will help. The compiler is what is telling you the errors. And if you read those errors, if nothing else, you can Google for them. So next we want to split based on this. Although this only shows one dash and this one shows two. So interesting. What does our actual file have in it? Ours has two. So we're going to trust it. So we're going to just say that this is going to be like a string. Do I have to put these options here? I don't think I do. I'm doing none options. Okay. Can I do that? Okay, so we do this. I guess that's true because it doesn't know how many are going to come here. So then what we have to do is current entry dot start time is going to be equal to something like system.datetime.parse. I don't know, but it's going to be something like this. Timestamps 0. And again, we have like basically no validation at this point, so things are definitely going to break. Don't email me ever. Okay, yeah, so this is probably totally wrong because I just don't even know. Oh, right, because then we want the milliseconds. So, yeah, okay, let's think of this in multiple stages and then we can like collapse it after the fact. because we just have to, I just don't off the top of my head know how to do this. So let's start with this first and do it as 2 stages, and then we can, yeah. Okay, so the issue is really, like I need to parse a specific format, you know, as a time span, or I just need something that's going to take a string that looks like time. Okay, this very thing, in fact. So do I want a, where does time span live? Does that live in globalization? Okay, so it's going to be a time span, not a date time, I guess. But if that is easily parsable, that would be great. Okay, where does time span live? Was that in globalization? No, it's just in system. Okay, okie dokie. So, change my mind. You are a system time span. So then I want, oof, what have I done? You know, I don't know, like to what? To 2 milliseconds? Total milliseconds? How about that? What are these stupid VS Code errors I'm getting all over the place today? Is this a method? Double to int. Oh, no, that's fine. Sure. I mean, whatever. Microplodes. You're gonna be mad at me? Oh, come on. Not gonna be that big of a number. We'll just make these doubles. Oh, it didn't work. Okay. We can tidy all this stuff up, but maybe something like that. So now the thing is a little tricky because we want to concatenate some number of lines until we hit a new line character. We already split based on new lines though. So at this point, what would we actually have? Would we have an empty Like, do we just have an empty... Okay, I guess we should figure that out, huh? Because that's easy enough if we're just watching for empty. Why am I doing this like this? Let's do it like this. How about that? Okay, let's just see what's in all of these. I think at this point we should have like totally empty. I didn't mean to hit play. Yeah. So that's how we'll know when we're done. of the most harrowing episodes of the entire Second World War. So how do we want to do this? Like, what we really want is to know, like, are we going to just sub-iterate until we find... Or do you think there's a way that we could combine... What's the least annoying way to do this? Like, we could start a new internal loop that started with where we are, and then if it hit a new line, it would just break. Oh, let's try that. I don't know if I like this idea, but let's just try it. So we know we hit the new thing. Now we basically need to just iterate until we hit a... So it could be something like while... Ah, gosh, it's like line while lines. I'm trying to think of a one-liner for this. Just to say, basically, we want to keep iterating until we until lines I is not equal to nothing. I guess this is empty string. I think it's supposed to be like is null or empty instead, but we'll just go with this for the second. And so we will just like concatenate whatever. So this will be our current entry dot content plus equals lines I. Something like this. Do we actually, is this right though? Because this is going to say, that's going to get whatever this first text line is, and we're going to increment, and then it's going to check this, and we're going to still be on that bad line. So then we need to increment one more time. I feel like this, I don't know, I think I like this more than trying to do some kind of state thing where we're managing what phase we're in or whatever, and just handle it more like straight ahead, one line at a time, and just add line offsets as we go. I feel like that's a little less error prone, but I also feel like it's probably broken right now. So I feel like it's less error prone overall. Oh no. Well. This could be for a lot of reasons. Could be that the parsing's wrong, could be a million things. Could be so many things. There's just infinite number of things I could have broken. I don't like that this is removing my selection every time. Okay, so those are our contents. So why string was not recognized as a valid time span. So we have hours, minutes, seconds, milliseconds, and I thought that was something that seemed okay with time span parse. Is that not true? Like right here. Although, is that, what is this? Bad format. What do we think this format actually Wait, oh, interesting. It says the comma is bad. Ugh. Because of the... Well, that's stupid. Because of the comma. That doesn't... That's not very cool. So do I need to replace that comma? So I guess we could do... Can I do that? This feels pretty hacky, but like, I don't know. This is for a specific project with a very specific set of input data, so I'm not super worried about it. Okay. Input string was not in the correct format. Huh. Okay. I mean, that's not terrible news. I'm kind of okay with that. And if this is I think I'm just one line off, probably down here somewhere. Maybe, yeah, I think I'm just one line off, so. How do I keep hitting play? So we had an ID, we got a raw timestamp, we got a raw ID. So I did advance one too many. So I didn't actually need this one, which is curious because I would have thought this to me looks like we should be ending on the line that is the bad line. While lines I is not equal. Right? It looks like, so say this is a valid one, and then we increment, and then we're on the invalid one, and we loop back up here, and then we say, oh, of course, the actual loop is incrementing. That's why. The for loop was doing that last increment. We didn't need to do that. Okay. So how are we happy with our parsing? We have no idea if the if the how do I do this? Like add a I just forget. Like, can I do this in a struct? I think there's actually no reason to use structs in C#. I always forget what the thing is. Like they're basically the same as classes. Let's see. One things everything's. I can't remember. Like I don't think there's actually that much difference in C# between a struct and a class. Or it becomes a reference type versus a value type. So if everything's value type, which it is, right? I think string count. String count? I don't know. I might have to look into this more a little later. Yeah, is this true? Is that really true? I should know this. I just don't actually remember the C# details. Like, I can't do this. Not that. I can't do this. Can I? Or if it's just if I make a current one. Right, I do need a new one here because otherwise it's the same one every time, right? I guess I could just have the same one and continually change the values, but if I add to it, is that I get a copy of it? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Anyway, I think we want a the thing I was actually trying to do. This is the real magic of switching to different languages all the time, is I just am bad at all of them. It's a real... It's almost like a superpower. Be bad at every language simultaneously. So, yeah. This is not going to be pretty, but this will never actually get used for late runtime. It's just for debugging. Am I right? Am I right or wrong? Does that have to be a system.string? Anyway. I just had to go. I need a little refresher, clearly. Keep hitting play. Don't hit play. So for example, this should be 5 seconds, 733 milliseconds. So that looks like 5 seconds, 733. So that looks good. The Battle of Britain was 1. And then, of the most harrowing experiences, the entire Second World War. So did that actually concatenate the way we would want it to? It's just that there's weird secondary lines, right? Like this whole thing where I don't really understand the reasoning there. I mean, maybe I do. Maybe we do actually want those. Yeah, we do. We want those line breaks for the closed captioning, I guess. So that does make sense. So it's of the most harrowing experiences of the entire Second World War. Is that what we ended up with? Of the most harrowing experiences of the entire Second World War. Yeah, okay. So it seems like we're parsing. I'm gonna, for the moment, and then this we just want to do just push our current entry, right? It's not, it's add is the language I'm in. Okay, so let's just tidy things up a little bit. We get everything we just get from the text asset, so we just have that. It's presumably just in memory waiting for us in some magical Unity way. We are then going to split that based on new lines, which is a little lame. Like if we were doing this ourselves when we read it, we could read it line by line and be a little more efficient, but whatever. That means all the dumb stuff of building a URL and using streaming assets and whatever. So I think we don't want to do that. And then we're just going to loop through. For every like macro iteration, we're going to make a new entry. We're going to parse the ID. We're going to parse the timestamps. Oh, I have a problem. Do I care about this problem? Oh no, how's it going over there? That looks awesome. What just happened? Did you... what? Did you... Huh. That's an interesting way to work. Did you throw this in a rage? Did you just slam this against the wall? Or did it fall off the edge of your PC? You need to dust your... Clean out your dust filters, my guy. It looks like you're having a great day. Okay, so here's the thing I just realized that is potentially a bad idea. And I'm not sure how much I care about that idea. How much do I care? If we decided that those were important, those line breaks, which, you know, it looks like it wants that. It looks like this file is designed in such a way that it wants you to respect these line breaks. These line breaks when showing the subtitles, then we have failed because I have thrown away I have thrown that away. So we could either keep an array of strings, which is maybe the easy answer, which sounds like probably not the memory friendly thing to do, but we'll just be bad programmers. Or either I don't care and I just care about handle line feeds myself later, or I do care and I keep this stored in one place and I just stick a new line in here, or I do care and I keep the array. The thing is, I don't want the array because I really want to just take those contents and just dump it directly into a yeah, I think I just want to dump it directly into a thing, you know, into a thing. You know, one of those things. Those things that are called TextMesh Pro text boxes, one of those things. So, okay, let's try a couple things here. Let's try something like this. I don't know if I like this, but let's just try it. What does this actually give us? String, just text, yeah. Like, what if I did this and put all of this in this static, right? And this is going to return a list of SRT entries. And then we'll just take this whole business and we'll put it in here. What's your problem? Okay, so now if we want to do this, we could do SRT utility parse SRT file. So let's try this now. Let's try oh. How am I gonna know this? Like, I really need like the time code. Okay, so like you want this thing. How do you want this? You want some data structure that then once you have the data structure, you want to also be able to. So I guess that could just be part of this dude, part of the parser. You'd have to, after you got the data back, it'd be like SR utility parse, and it would be like SRT utility, like get entry for a specific time code. Or do we just want to implement that in its own thing? Like something that's its own dude that just will actually track the audio. So probably have to move this. Something like this, and then because you want to be able to know. Sorry. What do you want? Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Okay, so you know, so if we have like the how do you get the audio source progress? Audio source time. Current playback time or secret playback time. Yeah. So Life observes you crawling around on the floor picking up components right now. The audio source at time. How does that come in? It's a float. So I think I have a few ways to do this. Decide which one I like the most. We may change it if we do want to end up trying to make it into a playable. But for now, where's your, didn't I say an audio source was required? So, how do we want to do this? We've got some ticking time. We have some list of timecode ranges. So what we need to keep track of is like as we enter or as we exit those timecode ranges. And we don't really want to be checking every one of them always. Although that probably doesn't really hurt that much. It's just a quick iteration and a couple of checks. Like, the advantage of checking always is if we did want to be able to jump around, you could jump around. I mean, you could also, if you know, do have something like if you jump around, reset the timer or whatever. So I think to start with, I'm just always going to loop through always, and basically just say we have an identifier, so we know the current ID. So for now, let's just do for each SRT entry, and SRT entries. If, and my current time is actually in seconds, which is dumb. But we basically just want to say if, this is dumb. Current time is greater than or equal to entry.start time, and current time is less than and equal to entry.end time. And we need to like know what the current entry is. You know, whatever our current ID is. Did it start at 0 or did it start at 1? So we could just start this at 0. So if it's between there and between the next one. Oh no, it's so tragic. So we also need to be able to say like we didn't actually hit 1, right? Like that if we want to do a few things. One, we want to say if we just assume these are always sequential. So I'm trying to think of like if there's a good time to decide to bail out of this, right? Like, because basically if we ever hit an entry where we're beyond the end time, or sorry, where the end time is beyond us, we always want to bail. We don't need to keep going. Like fully bail. There's no reason to keep looping if the end time is after where we are. I'm gonna not worry about optimizations right like that right this second. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Okay, I'm back. Hate that. Hate getting emails that like people are wanting things from me that they break my train of thought. I just hate it. But I have to keep, like, I might get an important email, so I have to be conscious of emails arriving, but it's just so, hate it. There's one organization in particular that is just will not stop sending me non-stop emails and notifications of other kinds. Okay, what are we even trying to do? We're trying to say, if this is true, and we're not already like, we don't already have a current entry. Because we really only want to do this if we don't know. In fact, I'm gonna rethink this just a little bit. I don't really care about their ID. I care about our index. So like, a little weird for jumping around, but I'm sure I always want to loop through these, because we have to not only find it, but then we kind of want to separately set, like decide how long to have that thing up on the screen, like how long we want the actual, subtitle display doodad. Yeah, we'll almost certainly want to break this out. Okay, I'm gonna leave it very brute force at the moment. Can I make this null? Does that have to be default? Oh, it has to be default, right? Yeah. Okay, so we basically want to say, like, if can I do that? Wait, what? Oops. Good grief. Wait, I can't. Why can't I say if the current entry is equal to default? What is the syntax for that? Oh, okay. Can I do that? Why? Do that? Major keyboard issues today. Look at that. That looks just really dumb. Anyway, okay, I might change that because I don't like it. But for the moment, we just want to say, like, if we don't have a value, basically, like if we don't, we only want to look if we don't actively have something up, right? And this is really inefficient because it means we'll always loop through the whole thing every time. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't think this is the way to do this. I guess the other way to think about it is that you're basically just going to iterate through the thing. And once you pass the end time, you're going to pass the end time. Does that work? I don't know. My brain is not in this mode right now, apparently. How do I want to do this? Because I just kind of want to say, I don't like this. Like, are we always assuming we're just going to go, like, in the order they come? Are we always going to start at the 0 index? Or should we always be, like, trying to find the entry for the time if we don't have something on the screen? And should we also always be only iterating, like, later than we already have checked, you know? It just means that you have to have special allowances for if you seek around. But it seems lame to, like, you know, if you're not showing a subtitle, you're just looping through all of these constantly instead of just looking at the next one, like whatever is one later than you think is where you are. Okay, let's go back to that. Let's just try this. Let's see. So let's do. It just means you potentially lose. Like, you know, break whenever you want. So you could have something that's like just a straight up while true and just say is equal to the SRT entry index. So we're always only starting where we think we want to start, which in this case is going to be 0. And we always want to be sure that we are less, you know, I is less than SRT entries dot length dot count. And we're just going to iterate through these. And we're going to say, for example, that if if the current time is less than the start time of wherever we're looking at, then just bail, because we're like we're before where we even need to be thinking. Is less than right? We're just done and we're not going to do anything. And then similarly, we want to say if the current time, if the end time, or if it is less than, is greater than the end time, then break. If we make it here, then that means that we are greater than the start time and less than or equal, greater than or equal to the start time, less than or equal to end time. So this is the place that we're like, oh, we're actually somewhere that we care about. So how do we want to handle the like breakout time? Like how do we want to handle the end time if we have a current entry? I mean, this would mean basically weirdly, this is kind of almost all you need in a weird way. This means we're always checking, but we're always only checking from where we are. I mean, weirdly, it's kind of like, you know, there's something that's like, you know, so like something like this. Because you would know to hide it otherwise. And you'd always know. So, like, if active, yeah, how do I want to think about this? I mean, this could also mean we made it to the... this is a weird one. Like, this is not true, by the way. Like, I know, I'm definitely overthinking this, like trying to make it overly concise. So, we have bailed if we're too early. We have bailed if we are too late. But there's some possibility in the middle here that we are okay. Right? So like if we actually make it down here, then we have to be in the right place, right? So like I guess we just need to say like if SRT, if I is not equal to the SRT entry index, or another way to put it, if SRT entry index is not equal to I, should be, and then let's just console, or let's debug.log our SRT entries I content, 30 plural, the contents. Okay, this might be like, I'm sure I've way overthought this. Just trying to minimize what I'm checking and when I'm checking it, you know? What? I really should not be in 2020.2. I feel like I'm just... causing myself grief here. Cool. This is going great. What? Okay, let's just not do this. How's that sound? Oh, task manager. Thanks. Let's try that again with 2020.3. How does that sound? Downgrades. Unity hates downgrading, so we'll see. That was a secret. Don't play that. Unity, what are you doing? It's probably furious at me for this version. Anyway, so what are we actually doing here? We are trying to go through here. I'm going to say why true. We're only going to break in these circumstances, which has to be correct eventually. All right. Oh no, that's not true at all. This is definitely wrong. I didn't need both of these. Okay. So that was wrong anyway, but we didn't even get to run. So I don't think we, okay. So we will start where we are. I'm going to stop there no matter what. Do I actually think this is true? I think this isn't true. I need to rethink this for a second because this can't be. Like if we're less than the start time, we definitely don't care about this. If we're after the end time, we definitely don't care about this. And if we're less than the start time of the one we're looking at, then this sucks. Unity. You suck. What are you doing? What are you doing? I couldn't even move my mouse for a second. Awesome. I'm gonna kill some more tasks. Keep killing. Keep killing. Keep killing. Kill. I should delete library. I should just make a new project. Anyway, okay. And then we're going to say, yeah, because we're before the start time of this. This, though, is not right. Because we could easily be after the end time of any one of these. Like if we're before the start time, we know we're in trouble. Like that's like, just get out of here. We don't even care. In fact, we should really be starting with the next entry. Although we know we'll be after the end time of that. This is wrong. This needs to be like, if we are after the end time, we don't break, but we continue. Because we could be after the end time of this one, but we could still be in the right time on the next one. And then the case that we would actually flip over is this case. Unity, have you just fully given up? Says there's Unity editors running somewhere. A whole lot of Unity crash handlers running also. Should get multi-select in Task manager and just kill everything. Kill everything. Huh? Gonna work? Hard to say. We'll give it one more chance. Okay. Right? Is this right? Like wherever we happen to be. And we really only want to do this if we're in the range that we think we want to be in, like, then we're good. I just am not, my brain is not working as far as picking out the cases here. But this would basically be the case where there's like, hey, this doesn't handle the case of wasn't this working earlier? Huh. I thought this was working earlier. What is the version of this that takes options? String, split, options, dot, none. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? Why don't you want that? What? System of string split options. That's this. You give it a char. No, I want just a string, a literal string. I thought that was one of the options. What happened here? Am I like now in a different .NET runtime or something, and now that doesn't work? Char, array. A string array separator. I don't understand. Like that? What you want? What do you want? Why did this work a minute ago and now it doesn't work? Cool. This seems like a silly way to get around it, but let's do it. I mean, is it going to turn into a char array, though? I don't think it's going to work. Like, can that give me a single character? I don't think so. So just doing regex split instead. That's the easier option here. I guess let's try this. I don't know about this. Oops. Where does regex live? In system? System without text and regular expressions. Really? Is this gonna work? I don't feel like it's gonna work. Feels like it's gonna break everything, but let's see. Okay, well, we lost all our stuff. That's our text asset. That's our audio clip.
The Battle of Britain was one of the most harrowing episodes.
So, what did we do wrong? We were looping through here, so like, oh yeah. And that was the index.
The Battle of Britain was one of the...
Okay, we're doing great. Okay, so let's try to actually do this correctly. So we have the current time, and these look like not unreasonable numbers, right? 7, 3, 3, 8, etc., etc. So we would expect the first one to trigger when? We would expect that first one to trigger between 5733 and 7266. And it definitely didn't. Or did it? A lot of output. What did I say? 5733. Should have split. Should have happened here. Or it should have been the content. We should have just seen that too. Should have been easy enough to see. Wait, I saw it. Wait, okay. One of the most harrowing episodes. So why did we not see the first one? Did I just miss it? Try running it without that first log. Oh, is it super loud? Okay, sorry. Can I... How about this? Don't you care about history?
The Battle of Britain was one of the most harrowing episodes of the entire Second World War. Seeking to deal a knockout blow after successfully conquering much of continental Europe, Hitler unleashed the Luftwaffe against Britain, which after the fall of Paris in June of 1940, stood virtually alone against the Nazi onslaught. Hitler sought to neutralize British air defenses in preparation for an invasion of Britain by sea. Yet despite attacking Britain through the air with overwhelming force, Hitler underestimated the resolve of the British people. The panels of the monument can...
Okay, so the actual problem is this. So it actually seems like it works, sort of. So now we need to do the thing, of course, so we can have like a way to like trigger a start and end. Awesome. What happened? SRT entry index. We only really want to check one beyond where we are. We don't want to look at the one we're currently on.
The Battle of Britain was one of the most harrowing episodes of the entire Second World War. Seeking to deal a knockout blow after successfully conquering much of continental Europe, Hitler unleashed...
So I guess one thing to check is, like, are these fully back to back? They're not quite. You can see there's a little bit of a gap here. Sometimes they're fully back to back. Sometimes there's a slight gap. I mean, of course, there could be times where there's substantial gaps. So we do need to account for that. So let's start with, I'll just make a subtitle, dude. Right? You know how it goes. Subtitle dudes. Why is this Arial in that Liberation Sands? Okay, so what we need then is for this fellow to also do what? This fellow should also... Oh! So I don't know. We could add like some kind of like get thing for time to this, but to this. Wait, no, to this. Like get entry for time, but I don't know. I think we just want to get the entries and then we will separately handle it because we care about it relative to, you know, we don't just want to do that in isolation. We care about like checking that as infrequently as possible, I guess. So separately from this is like, so this will be like watch for new titles. And this would be the place that we would want to show title, hide title, basically. And this will take us string text. So up here, we want a what? What's wrong with you? We don't really need that anymore, though. It's just for testing, so I'll throw that away. Text. Subtitle one word or two words? Let's say it's one word. So if this happens, we want to show subtitle. So we really only want to do this if we are showing a title. And I don't know. I don't know if I like that. subtitle text.text equals text. That's very good programming. Something like this. Something like that. Something's wrong. So we don't need this for the moment. So then we want to say if subtitle visible and current time is greater than or equal to, also greater than, SRT entries, SRT entry index, end time. And then we should hide this subtitle. Something like this. The problem is, though, is you could theoretically like move on to showing the new title first. So we should actually always hide. Should like expire subtitles before we show new ones. Guess it doesn't really matter. If you're showing a new one, you know you're not hiding one, probably, unless it was like a weird 0 frame thing. I didn't set the thing to the thing.
The Battle of Britain was one of the most harrowing episodes of the entire Second World War. Seeking to deal a knock...
Okay, well, yes, but also no. So can we get like some test text here just to make sure? So really we should be like full width attached to the bottom. Can you do horizontal overflow so it's just not tall enough? I don't know how high we really need to count for. You could set this in EMs. I mean, like, because the font size just has no relationship to this height. So should I account for up to 4 lines or something? I mean, I don't think we saw anything above 2 lines here, did we? So at least for this text, I don't see anything about 2 lines, but that doesn't, maybe you shouldn't count on that. So maybe I should comfortably fit 3 lines. And we could just like vertically center it. And we'll just use our own wrapping, I think. Yeah, we should do this. We should have like some set width. Let's call this 64 tall, and let's call this 512 wide. And let's, yeah, I'll have to think about that a little bit. Just that our wrapping is going to be totally different than the... Also, if we want, that's kind of lame. If we want like the black box to fill, you know, to appropriately match. That's a little annoying. We can do some kind of fit. You just can't. I don't think you can set a text background, unfortunately. Maybe you can with Text Mesh Pro. I don't think you can, though. I don't think you can. Not that big of a deal. So let's create UI panel. It's just going to be this for now, just the same dimensions. Oh my gosh, what's with the emails? Hate it. Okay, so that's not where that goes. I'll just do this for the moment. Doesn't look great, but that's fine. We'll just bump them both off the ground a little. Oh my gosh! I am setting a filter right now. Right now, so that these emails. How do I create a rule? How do I add a label? Never mark it as important. Okay. I had to have a talk with that organization and tell them to never email me ever. Okay, so what are we actually trying to do? If I could just concentrate for 5 seconds. That's weird. Why does that seem like it has 2 lines? And it says that it's vertically centered. That don't look vertically centered to me. You should be 64. Okay. Oh, but it's only going to hide the thing.
The Battle of Britain.
Let's do this instead. The like wrapping the individual lines, like that's pretty annoying. I don't know. I think we're gonna stay simpler than that. We'll just say these can be full size. We'll have this subtitle panel. Which I think is okay opacity wise. So then we just want a and that is what we will, that's what we'll show and hide. And then we should always wait to set it true. Okay, how's this? Make sure to set that reference. Forgot what I'm doing. So irritated by those emails. Just can't think straight. These emails, they drive me crazy. Okay.
The Battle of Britain was one of the most harrowing episodes of the entire Second World War. Seeking to deal a knockout blow after successfully conquering much of continental Europe, Hitler unleashed the Luftwaffe against Britain, which after the fall of Paris in June of 1940, stood virtually alone against the Nazi onslaught. Hitler sought to neutralize British air defences in preparation for an invasion of Britain by sea. Yet despite attacking Britain through the air with overwhelming force, Hitler underestimated the resolve of the British people. The panels of the monument commemorate the contributions of Britons from all walks of life. From the observers who watched the sky for German planes, to the anti-aircraft gunners and ground crews, to the women working in factories and directing the squadrons in the air, and of course, the pilots themselves, who seem to spring into action out of the wall in this panel.
I think it's out of the wall. Got a little bit of an English accent thing there. Okay, so I wonder if our audio guy can do those SRTs for us. That would be nice. Well, it is, but that timing comes from the SRT file. So like that's how it would actually be.
A Nazi onslaught. Hitler sought to neutralize British air defences in preparation for an invasion of Britain by sea. Yet despite attacking Britain through the air with overwhelming force, Hitler underestimated the resolve of the British.
So like, yeah, I agree with you. Maybe I'll add a little padding, you know, where it'll just like pad those end times. But if a new thing comes through, it will always, should always throttle the thing we're currently showing. So it would just swap out the titles. You know, I could do something like while parsing, I could just always add add an extra second or something to that, and then it would show it as long as possible. But I definitely don't want to do the like bump up the screen thing. Like Steven 7411, how's it going? Fading could help. The issue is I do and I don't. Like, to know the timing to decide when to fade is like totally dictated by the subtitle generation. And so like on a TV, I would guess that there's like maybe a margin on the end, but then when new subtitles come in, it bumps it up. I need to keep this as a fairly simple implementation. But I could see doing that. Like basically have a queue of them, and as new ones come in, they stack up, but I wouldn't want it to go out of control. So I don't know. For a first pass, the easiest thing to do is to add a buffer, and then we could add a fade. It's just like you could easily get a new subtitle in the middle of when you're trying to fade. So like, and that's a tertiary timer that we'd have to have, which is fine. I mean, it's all definitely doable. It's just, I think for this first implementation, I want to keep it kind of simple. But we definitely can. And we do have the image alpha of that. Oh, well, that's not exactly true. So to fade it, we'd have to use probably a canvas group, and then just control the canvas group globally. That would be okay. I could do this and fade things up and down like this. That wouldn't be the worst. Yeah, well, the thing I'm trying to decide currently is about the line breaks. So I'm not even to like prettiness yet. I'm a bit worried about the line breaks. So it gives us line breaks, and then I ignore them. So something I'd actually like to know is if I do this and I do it as rich text, will it respect new lines? Like, for example, if I just had a new line here, and then I said, I thought you could tell this. Oh, great. Do they not have a new line in the text field? You have to do this. Perfect. I have to do this. Great. We're doing very well here. We have rich text on. I'm pretty sure there is a rich text way to do this. Kind of would have thought \n would be the thing. Maybe I just can't type it here. Maybe I have to like when setting the thing, if I... You know what I mean? Like maybe I can... Okay, let's just try to do this programmatically, I guess. It's kind of lame that I can't do it there though, right? So what I would need to do, I think, this is a little annoying. This is always one of the annoying things, but when I do my concatenation here, I could just do one of those. That's going to put a new line at the end, which I don't actually want. So I might have to like truncate that one, which is a little annoying, but whatever. I could just make a little miniature array of these and then join them with that, which is like, who cares about memory? It really doesn't matter. Again, that's a mostly offline process, that thing. That's not like that is string processing that runs every frame or something. So I'm not super bothered by that.
The Battle of Britain was one of the most harrowing episodes of the entire Second World War. Seeking to deal a knockout blow after successfully conquering much of continental Europe, Hitler unleashed the Luftwaffe against Britain, which after the fall of Paris in June of 1940, stood virtually alone against the Nazi.
Okay. So that's not bad, except for that extra line. So either I truncate that at the end here, or I do something like outrageously lazy. That's like, you know what would be cool is if I could do a join. Is that this thing you can do? Okay, let's try this. Lines.join. Is there a join? I mean split. Split? What's my problem? Like if I could give it a start and end index, I have to figure out what the end index is, but where's the actual split method? Any arguments? This. So, like if I could give it a start and an end, it looks like I can't though. It splits a string into a maximum number of substrings. So that's the number of substrings I'd want, but the starting point. Lines is an array of strings. The thing I would want though is I'd want like a start and an end offset basically. Like I only want to join a sub section, whatever the right word I want there is. So this looks like, hey, I can do a maximum number, but like starting like a string array splits a string into a maximum number of substrings based on. But that'd be the whole array. So I would have to like split it out first. I was hoping there would just be a version of this that was, well, I guess the other problem there is that I don't necessarily know. Yeah, I mean, the really lazy way would just be make an array here. This is the very lazy way. In fact, the really lazy way is this. If this was something that had to run every frame, I would be worried about this. Yeah, I could do, well, it would be like a sub array, not a substring. It would be like a slice, whatever the C# version is. But I think this will be fine. What I'll just do as I go through here, I'll just push these onto this. So I will just do a contents.add, and I'll just add this. Like so. And then at the end of this, I can just do don't know why my IntelliSense stopped working. Split this with new line. Oh, because that's a how do you do a list to array? Right, because I have to go. Is that not right? Oh, it's capital T, of course. What language am I in? Okay, this is like. And then. Should I just give me an array? And then that is a join. That's what I want. Oh, I'm mentally backwards. Join. Okay. Good grief. That should not have taken that much mental energy. That is still wrong. Why is it still wrong? I don't think I need link just for a to array on a generic list. I don't think I need link. Wait, I can join just a list? Okay, wait, was I just wrong here? Falling apart. Wait, that's if I use link? I don't really want to use link. Link is slow and overheady. Okay, you're telling me the static. So that list.join or sorry, string.join. This static method. I gotcha. And so I have to give it the string. I gotcha. Okay, sorry. I gotcha. It's on string. Why can't I get anything right? Wait, I want to split. I'm splitting here, right? I'm splitting, not joining. I've just utterly confused myself. But that would be to create an array. I want to split this array that I made. I maybe I should just do this the way that I think I know how to do it. So I think I need to, I have a list that I want to split with join. Good grief, why can't I get these? I'm gonna blame it on being so angry about emails. Okay, string join T. I thought that's what I just tried. Oh, the delimiters first. Good grief. Okay, it's string.join with the delimiter with the thing I want to join. Are we good now? What are you mad about now? Now are we happy? Oh yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I'm just getting frazzled. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. I was confusing myself for no reason. I'm like so distracted. I don't know. I've been like at this now. I'm distracted with this awkward situation where I have to have a conversation with this organization that I've been volunteering for, like trying to explain that I do not want 17,000 emails all day every day, because I find it so distracting. Okay. Did this do the thing?
The Battle of Britain was one of the most harrowing episodes of the entire Second World War.
And we can make some estimates about what the
Seeking to deal a knockout blow after successfully conquering much of continental Europe, Hitler unleashed the Luft.
And if we wanted to, we could pad the times. So, if we just want to for now, just see what it'd be like to pad the times, just to make sure that just swapping out would work, which it should, because it's just going to call that the show method again. I feel like I'm permanently ruined in terms of what parameters should be first.
The Battle of Britain was one of the most harrowing episodes of the entire Second World War. Seeking to deal a knockout blow after successfully conquering much of continental Europe, Hitler unleashed the Luftwaffe against Britain, which after the fall of Paris in June of 1940, stood virtually alone against the Nazi onslaught. Hitler sought to neutralize British air defenses in preparation for an invasion of Britain by sea.
And this will
Yet
be
despite attacking
localized.
Britain through the air with overwhelming force,
I do have to use...
Hitler underestimated the resolve of the British people. The panels of the monument...
Like, we could do this... how do you do that thing? It's like fit... a content size fitter? Is this going to fit this around the contents? I can't exactly remember how to do this with text. Great. Nailed it. That was exactly right. It was exactly right. Well, do I need to set minimum? I would have hoped that it would. I thought I've done this before. Anyway, the thing I was going to say, I feel like I've like fundamentally ruined on my mental model of what parameters should be first or second. And I think that comes from PHP, because PHP was so bad about it that half the time, like just two very similar methods would want parameters in the opposite order. But I don't know. I feel like that's not a very common .NET convention, that they would say the delimiter would come before the thing you're splitting. I feel like that is sort of backwards. Okay, what do I need? Content size fitter to the same game object which has the text component, then set both a horizontal fit. So that's supposed to be the text, the thing with the text component. Okay, so that fits to the text component. And then I guess if we have the same, a content size fitter here, that is obviously not happy. Like if I want a, I can't have an image and a, if I just place that there, let the sizing come from this, right? Like that seems good. So then should I instead actually have the image panel be inside of this? But then it would be technically, I guess I could change the drawing order. Because if I put it inside there, it's going to be on top of the text. So fit to says you UI element within with child text. The whole UI element to fit inside the text. In order to do this, first add horizontal layout group to the UI element, and then add a content size fitter 2. So the horizontal fit and vertical fit. I see. So I do need a horizontal layout. Okay. And then inside here, we can add a little bit of padding. That's probably really much more padding than we want. Did I? Yep. So actually, if we did do this and we had this then inside of a vertical layout, it would not be too bad to do have the stacks move at. But I don't know, for the application I need this for, I think that's not what I want to do. And in other words, like the thing that happens on a TV or movie where it'll kind of like bump them up if they're not there under a minimum amount of time. But I don't know. Seems like too much. Let's give me a little lorem ipsum here. Well, that's lame. Why did that happen? Is it because I did have a fixed... Okay. So hopefully this will be responsive. That doesn't seem good. That doesn't seem good. Why did this not respond to that? Or is it just not updating because it's Unity? Okay, well, let's see how this does. Oh, I see. Subtitles and closed captions? Interesting.
The Battle of Britain was one of the most harrowing episodes of the entire Second World War. Seeking to deal a knockout blow after successfully conquering much of continental Europe, Hitler unleashed the Luftwaffe again.
Okay, what did I do wrong? So... Okay, first add a horizontal layout group to the UI element, then add a content size fitter 2. Okay, but this is saying not to have it on the text? Is that what I'm understanding here?
The Battle of Britain was one of the most harrowing episodes of the entire Second World War.
We're doing great here.
Seeking to deal a knockout blow after successfully conquering much of continental Europe, Hitler unleashed the Luftwaffe against Britain, which after the fall of Paris in June of 1940, stood virtually alone against the Nazi onslaught. Hitler sought to neutralize British air defense.
I mean, this doesn't feel right. Something feels wrong here. Okay. Background image. You probably want the whole UI element to fit the size of the text, maybe with some padding. In order to do this, add a horizontal layout group to the UI element, then add a content size fitter. So it could matter the order of these, I guess. Set the horizontal fit, vertical fit, or both to the preferred setting. So we said preferred. It's not very clear if I'm supposed to also have this on the text in here, though, because this seems like... that seems wrong.
The Battle of Britain was one of the most harrowing...
I mean, I think I definitely want it here. I think I definitely want a content size fitter here, but then it's going to complain. First, it listens to the layout information provided by the children in the group, in this case, a child text, and it determines how large the group must be at a minimum and preferably in order to be able to contain the children. So is the issue that this needs to fill this? That doesn't seem right. Like, how do I... There's no facility for a preferred size here. Like, I think this documentation is not very helpful.
The Battle of Britain.
Very good. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't have... How about that? What if I just have this drive those, which is weird because don't we want the content fitter?
The Battle of Britain was one of the most harrowing episodes of the entire Second World War. Seeking to deal a knockout blow after successfully conquering much of continental Europe, Hitler unleashed the Luftwaffe against Britain, which after the fall of Paris in June of 1940, stood virtually alone against the Nazi onslaught. Hitler sought to neutralize British air defenses in preparation for an invasion of Britain by sea. Yet despite attacking Britain through the air with overwhelming force, Hitler underestimated the resolve of the British people. The panels of the monument commemorate the contributions of Britons from all walks of life. From the observers who watched the sky for German planes, to the anti-aircraft gunners and ground crews, to the women working in factories and directing the squadrons in the air, and of course, the pilots themselves, who seem to spring into action out of the wall in this panel.
Okie dokie. That seems to do the basics. So what else? Oh, what a sad photograph. Okay. Let's just do a little review here. So I think we don't actually need this. I'm going to care about that. That was useful for the moment. This structure seems okay. Seems okay. I mean, I don't know. Maybe a structure is inappropriate here because it has a string in it. Not entirely sure about that. Our parser just takes whatever text we give it. It's going to create a new set of entries. It's going to go through. We're going to make a new entry. I think I like this. I think I like this. There's like a zero support if the file is malformed, but like we will know that the file is well formed. It will break if it is not, and I don't really want to put in like extra fluff for it. This only has to run one time. This is like a little gross, but it's like a one-time thing to parse something into memory. So, and we could fully offline it if we wanted to. You know, like we could run this and do some code generation and just have it. If it was a problem, I don't think it'll be a problem. There's going to be like six videos that are like 5 minutes each. So like, I don't think this parse time will be like painfully offensive, but we'll see. If it is, then I can offline it in some way. Oh, okay. So that gives us the thing. And then so our runtime thing, we have the text asset, we have the panel and the text, we have the audio source, which maybe I will change that because I could see that coming from somewhere else. You know, maybe we break this all in here and it will just have a I'm going to do it this way, and the reason for that is I could imagine wanting to make this into something that's not driven by the audio source, but is instead driven by a Unity timeline as a playable graph, so that you could scrub audio and get the subtitles at the same time. Maybe. That's not a job for today, but anyway, we'll just do this. So, and then if we're in here, all we do is look to see, like, is our dude expired? And show or hide as needed. We did have that weird random wait, can I not? Can I not do this? Why can't you be a const? Does const imply static? Who knows what's going on in this language? Okay. Let's have that as like a little tunable thing. Maybe we want it, maybe we don't. Maybe that's too long. I don't know. Maybe we'll add some fading. Maybe the job of that actually shouldn't be in here. In fact, that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say the job of that is not in here. I think this thing should parse the file as described. Okay, compiled it. But does that mean it's static implicitly? Like, then is it just available, you know, statically on this class? Or is that somehow a separate concept? So, for example, I could do let's add some end time padding here instead, but I don't think that really needs to be. Oh. Okay. Okie dokie. I don't know. I never really am sure where I want to put like consti kind of stuff in Unity, but I think this is fine for now. I mean, it could be a parameter. What? What are you mad about? Okay. Okay. I kind of want to try it with just some random audio and SRT file from the internet, just to see how broken it is.
The Battle of Britain was one of the most harrowing episodes of the entire Second World War. Seeking to deal a knockout blow after successfully conquering much of continental Europe,
but that's fine.
Hitler unleashed the Luftwaffe against Britain, which after the fall of Paris in June of 1940, stood virtually alone against the Nazi onslaught. Hitler sought to neutralize British air defenses in preparation for an invasion of Britain by sea. Yet despite attacking Britain through the air with overwhelming force, Hitler underestimated the resolve of the British people. The panels of the monument commemorate the contributions of Britons from all walks of life. From the
Okay, well that was not very hard, except for me just forgetting how to write software 11 times. But if you ignore all the times that I just did a bad job, I just got an Apple News notification. I feel like Apple News notifications only happen if something serious is happening in the world. FDA authorized Moderna and J&J COVID vaccine boosters and said people can mix and match. Here's what to know. Let's go get some more shots. When do I get a... I already had 3 shots. I should get more. Because there's a difference between a booster and the 3rd immunity shot. So I got the 3rd immunity shot. I have not had a booster, so... I'm gonna ignore this for now. Because it was not that long ago that I got my 3rd shot. Okay. So, do we want to like try just some random sample? Gotta be one on the internet, right? That would be too easy. This looks like it matches our format. I just want a source that is not from Premiere, just to test, you know. Chicks a jubiler. Okay. Chicks a upload your video to the interface. Automatic, professional. Just let me download. But actually, I want an audio file, not a video file. But these look fine. Like, I guess we could just see if they parse. I guess that's true. We can just see if they parse, and we don't actually care if they work or not. Well, it's, yeah, so mine was like a immunity. The boosters are new, although I think there were some cases where the boosters for 2 of the vaccines were there, maybe just 1, maybe it was just Moderna. But separate from the idea of a booster, it was the idea of like a 3rd dose for immunocompromised people. So I have a compromised immune system, so I qualified for that one. That's not what I want. How do you do this? How do you do this? What's the right shortcut now that I have this? Tab new? Okay, sure. This can be... Okay, so let's just plug in these wrong subtitles just to see if they work, because, you know. Guess I should have paid attention to what the time code.
The Battle of Britain.
Okay, it already broke. That's interesting news. So what was, there's something super different about these? Oh, they look like it. So what did I break on? In this parser. While lines I is not equal to 0. Oh, interesting. So did I like bail? Oh, I see. So there could have been a... So that actually needs to be while... Oh, that's funny. So there must be an extra line at the end of this file. Yeah, okay. That's fine. I'll fix that. So this needs to be while, you know, I is less than lines dot length and this. I love this while inside of a for.
The Battle of Britain was one of the most harrowing episodes of the entire Second World War. Okay. Seeking to deal a knockout blow after successfully conquering much of continental Europe, Hitler unleashed the Luftwaffe against Britain, which after the fall of Paris in June of 1940 stood virtually alone against the Nazi onslaught. Hitler sought to neutralize British air defenses in preparation for an invasion of Britain by sea. Yet despite attacking Britain through the air with...
Okay. Great. I think we're done. I mean, I had to go like actually put this in the project, but I think this seems okay. Seems okay, right? It does the thing. There are some like maybe offensive things I'm doing in terms of efficient computing, but I only do them one time. And I feel like the runtime thing is pretty tight. Like the runtime thing, we're only ever looking at indices that we might think are relevant. We always bail or break if it seems like something isn't relevant. We only make changes if there is a change to make. We do have to continually check this if something is being shown. That's fine. It's just a simple comparison. Yeah. I think this is an okay start. Great. We did it, everybody. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Life is Yours. Thanks for your patience as I fumbled through doing the thing where I just forget how software works. You know, sometimes that happens. Sometimes I want to blame it on being distracted. Maybe that's a little bit of it. Sometimes I want to blame it on changing languages 7 times a week, which I think actually is a problem I have. But sometimes I just forget just forget how things work. I sometimes, apparently after 25 years, I still sometimes get join and split backwards, which is a little troubling. So, okay, then we're gonna call it a day. Maybe I'll play some more Death's Door later today. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. I'm gonna just go lay down for a couple days. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.